The morning sun rose over the hills as Ty stepped onto his porch. The cool air filled his lungs. He stretched his arms above his head and looked out at his small farm. It was not much, but it was his home now. "Dury, breakfast time," Ty called out. The white and tan Jindo dog came running from behind the house. His tail wagged fast as he reached Ty's side. Ty smiled and bent down to scratch behind Dury's ears. "Good morning, boy. Ready for another day?" Ty was 38 years old now. The lines on his face and the scars on his hands told stories of his past. For 12 years, he had been a soldier in special forces. He had seen things that still gave him bad dreams, but that was behind him now. For the last 3 years, this quiet farm in the countryside had been his escape, and Dury had been his saving grace. Ty filled Dury's bowl with food and watched as the dog ate happily. He remembered the day he found Dury, thin and scared, on the side of the road not far from here. Back then, Ty had been lost too. The military life was over, but the memories stayed. Dark thoughts filled his mind most days. "You saved me as much as I saved you," Ty said softly. After breakfast, they started their daily work. Ty checked his small garden where he grew vegetables. Dury kept watch, his eyes alert for any rabbits or birds that might try to steal the food. They worked well together, like a team that had trained for years. By noon, the sun was high and hot. Ty wiped sweat from his forehead and looked at his watch. "Time for a break, Dury." They walked down to the small stream that ran through the back of Ty's land. The water was cool and clear. Dury jumped in right away, splashing around while Ty sat on a large rock. He watched his dog play with a smile on his face. This simple life brought Ty peace that he never thought he would find again. After leaving the military, he had felt empty. The loud noises of the city made him jump. The crowds made him nervous. Here, with just Dury and the mountains around them, he could breathe again. After their break, Ty fixed a broken fence while Dury dug holes nearby. Sometimes Ty would look up from his work and just watch his dog. The simple joy that Dury found in everything made Ty's heart feel full. As the day ended, they sat together on the porch. Ty ate a simple dinner while Dury lay at his feet. The sky turned orange and red as the sun set behind the mountains. Stars began to appear one by one. "Look at that, Dury. Another perfect day," Ty said. Dury's ears suddenly perked up. He stood and looked at the sky, a low growl in his throat. "What is it, boy?" Ty asked. He followed Dury's gaze up to the night sky. That's when he saw it, a strange light moving across the stars. It was not an airplane. It was not a satellite. It moved in a way that made Ty's old soldier instincts wake up. Then another light appeared, and another. Dury barked now, his body tense beside Ty. "It's probably nothing," Ty said, but he did not believe his own words. Something felt wrong. The lights moved in patterns that seemed planned, not random. Ty put his hand on Dury's head to calm him, but his eyes did not leave the strange lights. After all his years in the military, he knew when something was not right. And tonight, something in the sky was very wrong. As more lights appeared, Ty felt a cold feeling in his stomach. The peaceful life he had built might soon change. He just didn't know how much. Ty could not sleep that night. The strange lights in the sky kept him awake. Dury was restless too, moving from window to window with his ears up. Morning came with fog over the hills and a strange feeling in the air. Ty turned on his old radio. He kept it for weather reports and rare news. Today, every station talked about the same thing. "Unknown objects have entered Earth's atmosphere," said the voice on the radio. "They are now in position over major cities around the world." Ty poured his coffee and listened closely. Dury sat by his feet, looking up at him with worried eyes. "People are excited about the possibility of first contact with beings from another world," the voice continued. "They should be careful what they wish for," Ty said to himself. He had seen too many conflicts not to be worried. Ty walked to his closet and pulled out a box from the back. Inside was his old military gear. He had not touched it in 3 years. He hoped he would not need it now. Later that day, Ty drove his truck to the small town nearby. People stood in groups outside the store, looking at phones and talking fast. Inside, many shelves were already empty. Ty grabbed canned food, water, batteries, and dog food for Dury. An old TV played in the corner of the store. It showed large, round ships floating over Seoul and other big cities. The ships were smooth and dark, with strange lights moving across their surface. "They call themselves the Novan Collective," said a woman on the news. "They say they come in peace." Next to Ty, a young store worker watched with wide eyes. "Isn't it amazing?" he said. Ty did not answer. Something about the way the ships positioned themselves bothered him. They covered key points over the city, the same way his team would set up for control of an area. It was a military formation. On the drive home, his truck radio cut out 3 times. The signal came back each time, but weaker. Other drivers pulled over, hitting their radios in confusion. Back at the farm, Ty unloaded his supplies and turned on the TV. The president was speaking, with world leaders behind him. A tall figure stood next to them. It looked almost human, but its skin was pale blue and its eyes were too large. It wore a smooth suit that seemed to move like water. "Today marks a new chapter in human history," the president said. "The Novan Collective has traveled across the stars to share knowledge and—" The screen went black for a second. When it came back, people were running. The camera shook and fell. Ty could hear shouting and a high-pitched sound like nothing he had ever heard before. Then the TV went completely dead. Ty tried the radio. Nothing but static. His phone showed no signal. He walked outside and looked at the sky. Far away, over the city, he could see flashes of light. "This is it," he said to Dury. "It's starting." That night, Ty could see more lights in the sky. Not just the ships now, but flashes like lightning. Sometimes the ground shook. Dury barked at the distant sounds that carried over the hills. Ty got his old military backpack ready. He filled it with food, water, first aid supplies, and tools. He found his compass, maps, and the gun he kept locked away. He hoped he was overreacting. He hoped morning would bring news that it was all a misunderstanding. But the soldier in him knew better. In the early hours, Ty stood on his porch with Dury by his side. The horizon glowed orange where the city should be dark. Smoke rose in thick columns. A low hum filled the air, getting louder. "We should get inside," Ty said to Dury, as something large and dark moved across the stars, blocking them out one by one. The peaceful days were over. 3 days passed. The world changed completely in those 3 days. Ty sat on his roof with old binoculars, watching the distant city burn. The Novan ships now filled the sky like dark clouds. Smaller ships zipped back and forth between them. No more news came on the radio or TV. The power went out on the second day. Ty used his small generator only when needed. He had enough fuel for 2 weeks if he was careful. "They hit the military bases first," Ty said to Dury, who sat beside him on the roof. "Smart move." From what Ty could piece together, the world's armies had tried to fight back. Jets and missiles were no match for the Novan weapons. The aliens had technology that seemed like magic. They could stop engines from working. They could make weapons shut down. They moved too fast to hit. In the small nearby town, people were scared. Some tried to leave for the mountains. Others stayed in their homes, hoping the aliens would not notice them. Ty watched through his binoculars as a group of people fought over food outside the store. "We need more supplies," he told Dury. "I'll go into town one more time." Ty loaded his gun and put it under the seat of his truck. He hoped he would not need it. He knelt down and held Dury's face in his hands. "You stay here and guard the house, okay? I'll be back soon." Dury whined but sat obediently as Ty drove away. The dog always seemed to know when danger was near. The town was half empty now. Some buildings had broken windows. The store had almost nothing left on its shelves. Ta found a few cans of food, some matches, and medicine. Not much, but better than nothing. As he loaded the supplies into his truck, he heard a new sound in the sky. It was not the low hum of the big ships. This was a sharper, faster sound. Ta looked up to see 3 small Novan ships flying low, heading away from the town. They were heading toward his farm. Ta jumped into his truck and sped down the road. His hands gripped the wheel so hard his knuckles turned white. The ships moved much faster than his truck could. "Please be okay," he said. "Please be okay." When he reached the turn to his farm, he saw smoke rising from behind the trees. His stomach dropped. He drove faster, rocks hitting the bottom of his truck. As he came over the hill, he saw what was left of his home. The house was half gone, with walls caved in and the roof collapsed. Black marks scorched the ground around it, like giant footprints. His garden was torn up, with deep holes where plants had been pulled out by the roots. "Dury!" Ta shouted as he jumped from the truck. "Dury, where are you?" He ran through the broken door, calling for his dog. Nothing. He checked every room, moving fallen beams and broken furniture. "Dury!" His voice grew desperate. Outside, Ta saw paw prints in the dirt. They led to the side of the house, then mixed with strange, wide footprints he had never seen before. There was a dark stain on the ground. Ta bent down and touched it. The liquid was thick and blue-black. Not blood, or at least not human blood. Dury had fought back. Ta followed the tracks to the edge of his property. The paw prints stopped where the grass was flattened in a perfect circle. A ship had landed here. They took him. They took Dury. Ta fell to his knees. For a moment, his breath came quick and short. Then something changed in his eyes. The sadness was still there, but now there was something else too. Something cold and hard. He went back to the ruins of his house. In the basement, he moved aside a hidden panel in the wall. Behind it was a metal box. Inside the box was everything from his past life. Weapons, tools, gear that most people had never seen. "I'm coming for you," Ta said as he loaded a black rifle. "I'm coming, Dury." The sun rose on a changed world. Ta had not slept. All night, he packed and prepared. Now he wore his old military clothes and carried his special gear. His eyes were red but clear with purpose. Ta walked around the broken pieces of his home one last time. In the light of morning, he found something he had missed the night before. Under a fallen beam was Dury's collar. The metal tag was bent, but the small tracking chip inside was still there. Ta had put it in the collar when he first found Dury. He took out a small device from his pack. It had been used to track his team members during missions. He turned it on and waited. A small dot of light appeared on the screen. Weak, but there. "I'm coming, boy," Ta said. He followed the signal across his land and into the forest beyond. The path was clear. Broken branches and strange marks on the ground showed where the aliens had gone. They were not trying to hide their tracks. After an hour of walking, Ta heard something ahead. He moved quietly behind a tree and waited. A man came into view, thin and dirty, carrying a bag. "I can see you," the man called out. "I'm not one of them." Ta stepped out slowly, his gun ready. "Who are you?" "My name is Han," the man said. "I was a bus driver in the city." Han looked at Ta's gear and weapons. "You were a soldier." Ta nodded. "Special Forces. What are you doing out here?" "Running like everyone else," Han said. "The aliens took over the city in hours. Those who fought back are gone. Those who ran might have a chance." Ta showed Han the tracking device. "They took my dog. I'm going to find him." Han looked at Ta like he was crazy. "Your dog? The world is ending, and you're worried about a dog." "He's all I have," Ta said. His voice left no room for argument. Han shook his head, but then pointed north. There's a place that way, about 50 miles. I heard from others. The aliens have some kind of base there. They're taking things. Things? Ty asked. Animals, mostly, Han said. They round them up from farms and zoos. No one knows why. Ta looked at his tracker. The dot pointed in the same direction Han was talking about. Why take animals when they're fighting humans? Ta wondered out loud. Maybe that's not what they came for, Han said. Maybe the fight with us is just in their way. I saw them take a whole truck of dogs from a shelter. They were careful with them, not like how they treat people. This was new information. Ta thought hard about what it meant. If the aliens wanted Earth's animals, not just to destroy humans, there was a reason, a goal. Do you know anything else about this base? Tai asked. Han shook his head. Just that no one who goes near it comes back. Listen, I'm heading to the mountains. There are others there, hiding. You should come too. Forget the dog. Save yourself. I can't, Ta said. Han looked at him for a long moment. Then you're going to die. Maybe, Ta said, but not before I find Uri. Han gave Ta some dried food from his bag. Good luck, soldier. I hope you find your dog. They parted ways, Han going east toward the mountains, Ta continuing north. The tracking signal grew slightly stronger. Uri was alive. As Ta walked, he saw more signs of the aliens, a crashed small ship in a field, strange equipment left behind. And once, in the distance, he saw 3 tall figures moving through the trees. Their bodies were thin but strong, with arms too long to be human. Ta kept low and quiet. His old training came back like he had never left the service. Move silently. Watch everything. Plan each step. Night was coming, but Ta did not stop. The signal was his guide now. Each step took him closer to Uri, and with each step, his anger grew stronger. The aliens had come for the planet, but they had made a mistake. They had taken something that belonged to Ta, and he was coming to take it back. 2 days of careful travel brought Ta to a small valley. The tracking signal was stronger now, but something was wrong. It moved in the night, heading farther north. Whatever was taking place at the alien base Han had mentioned, Uri was being moved somewhere else. Tai was checking his map when he heard a soft click behind him. He knew that sound well. A gun. Don't move, said a woman's voice. I'm human, Ta said, not moving. So are many who work with the Novans now, the woman said. Turn around slowly. Tai turned to see a small group of people, 5 in all. They wore dirty clothes and carried a mix of hunting rifles and military weapons. The woman who spoke was short with short hair and sharp eyes. She held her gun with the confidence of someone who knew how to use it. I'm Ju, she said, former head scientist at Seoul National University. Now I lead this group. Ta, former Special Forces. I'm looking for my dog. One of the men laughed. Ju gave him a hard look, and he stopped. Your dog? Ju asked. Ta showed her the tracking device. The aliens took him, on following his signal. To his surprise, Ju nodded. You're not the first to lose a pet to them. The Novans are taking animals from all over. We've been watching them. She waved for Tai to follow. The group led him to a hidden camp in a cave. Inside were more people, about 20 in all. They had supplies, weapons, and something Ta didn't expect. Computers and equipment. We stole some of their tech, Ju explained. I've been studying it. The Novans aren't just destroying. They're collecting. She showed Tai a screen with strange symbols. This is their language. We've learned some of it. They're especially interested in certain animal species. Dogs are high on their list. Why? Tai asked. We think it's about genetics. Dogs have lived with humans for thousands of years. They've changed to survive with us. The Novans seem very interested in that. Another person, an older man with glasses, spoke up. The signal you're following is moving because they're taking selected animals to their main facility in the mountains. That's where their mothership landed. Ta looked at his device. The dot was indeed moving toward the mountains in the north. I need to go there, he said. Ju shook her head. You'd never make it alone. Their security is too strong. I'm not asking for help, Ta said. But we need yours, Ju replied. Your special forces. We're just scientists, students, and civilians. We want to fight back, but we don't know how. Ta looked around the cave. These people were scared but determined. They had skills he didn't have, and he had skills they needed. I can train you, he said after a long moment. In return, you help me find a way into their main facility. Ju smiled. Deal. For the next 3 days, Tai taught the group basic military tactics, how to move quietly, how to set up an ambush, how to communicate without words. They learned quickly. In turn, they showed Ta what they knew about the Novans. One night, Ju brought him to their makeshift lab. On a table was a small alien device they had captured. We got this from a scout ship that crashed, she said. It has information about their operations. Look at this. She pressed something, and a 3D map appeared in the air. It showed the mountain facility where Duri was being taken. That's where you need to go, Ju said, and we're going to help you get there. For the first time since losing Duri, Tai felt hope. He was no longer alone in this fight. When do we leave? He asked. Tomorrow, Ju said. But I should warn you, the journey will be dangerous, and what we find there might be worse than what we've seen so far. Ta looked at the map of the mountain facility. Somewhere in there was Duri. Nothing would stop him from getting his dog back. Not the Novans, not their weapons, nothing. I'm ready, he said. Dawn broke as Ta and a small team from Ju's group set out. There were 5 of them. Ta, Ju, and 3 others chosen for their skills. One was a hunter named Min who moved through the forest like a ghost. Another was a young man who knew how to use computers. The third was a woman who had been a nurse. It took Ta and Ju 2 days to reach the mountains. They moved only at night and hid during the day. Novan ships flew overhead often, searching for them. The alarm at the outpost had put all forces on alert. We're getting close, Ta said, checking his tracking device. The dot that was Duri was steady now, no longer moving. They were less than 5 miles from the main Novan facility. From their hiding spot in the rocks, they could see the alien base. It was huge, covering much of the mountainside. Ships of all sizes landed and took off. Strange towers reached into the sky, glowing with blue light. How will we get in there? Ju asked. There must be hundreds of Novans. Tai studied the base through his binoculars. There, he pointed. See those trucks? They're bringing supplies in. We can hide in one. They watched the trucks for hours, learning their schedule. Earth vehicles driven by human workers came and went, bringing food and materials to the base. When night fell, they moved down to the road. They waited behind rocks until a truck passed, then ran after it. Tai helped Ju climb onto the back, then pulled himself up. They hid under a tarp among boxes of supplies. The truck slowed at a gate. They heard voices. A human driver talking to a Novan guard. Then the truck moved again, entering the base. When it stopped, they waited until the driver left. Then they slipped out and found a dark corner to hide. Now what? Ju whispered. Ta looked at his tracker. Duri is somewhere in the center of this place. We need to move deeper. They found service tunnels that ran under the main buildings. Moving carefully, they followed the signal until they reached a large underground space. Hidden behind containers, they stared in shock at what they saw. The space was enormous. In it were thousands of stasis chambers, clear tubes filled with blue liquid. And in each one was an animal. Dogs, cats, birds, and other creatures floated in the tubes, asleep but alive. What are they doing? Ju whispered. A door opened, and 2 Novans walked in with a human in a lab coat. They stopped near some of the chambers, talking. Tai and Ju listened carefully. The genetic samples are promising, the human said, especially from the canines. Their adaptive capabilities are exactly what you need. Yes, one Novan replied. Its voice was deep but smooth. Our world is dying. The genetic plague has destroyed much of our biodiversity. Without new genetic material, our species will follow. Earth's animals, especially those that have evolved alongside humans, show remarkable resilience. The human continued. Dogs in particular have adapted to so many environments in such a short time. That is why we need them, the Novan said. Not to destroy, but to save. Our world can be renewed with these genetic patterns. Ta looked at Ju. This was not what they expected. The aliens weren't just invading. They were desperate. After the group left, Tai and Ju moved through the rows of stasis chambers. Ta checked his tracker again. The signal led them to a section with dog chambers. And there was Duri, floating in blue liquid, eyes closed but chest rising and falling slowly. We found him, Ta said, his voice tight with emotion. Ju studied the control panel on Duri's chamber. I think I can open it, but it will set off alarms. Ta nodded. We need to know more first. If they're collecting animals to save their world, why the invasion? Why the violence? They found a computer terminal. Ju, with her science background, managed to access some files. What they learned made them both cold with fear. They're not just taking samples, Ju said, looking at the screen. Once they have what they need, they plan to cleanse Earth and remake it for their own use. Billions will die. Ta looked back at Duri in the chamber. So they're saving animals to let humans die. Yes, Ju said. And according to this, they've almost finished their collection. The cleansing could start any day. An alarm suddenly blared through the facility. A voice spoke in the Novan language, followed by a translation in Korean. Intruders detected in Sector 7. All units respond. That's here, Ju said. They know we're here. Then we have no more time to wait, Tai replied, drawing his gun. We're getting Duri out. Now, cover me, Ta said to Ju as he moved to Duri's stasis chamber. The alarms blared loudly around them. Red lights flashed across the large room. Ju took position near the door with her gun ready. Hurry. They'll be here soon. Tai studied the control panel on Duri's chamber. The buttons had strange symbols he couldn't read. He looked at Ju with worry in his eyes. Try the green button on the right, she called. That seems to be their color for open or release. Ta pressed it. With a hiss, the blue liquid in the chamber began to drain. Duri's body slowly lowered to the bottom. The clear front panel slid open. Tai reached in and carefully pulled his dog out. Duri was wet and not moving. For a terrible moment, Tai thought he was too late. Then Duri's chest moved. A small breath. His eyes fluttered. Come on, boy, Ta whispered. Wake up. Duri's eyes opened slowly. They were unfocused at first, then locked onto Ta's face. His tail moved weakly. Good boy, Ta said, his voice breaking. I found you. Ta, Ju shouted. They're coming. The sound of many footsteps echoed from the corridor outside. Ta lifted Duri in his arms. The dog was still weak from the stasis chamber. We need another way out, Ta said, looking around. Ju pointed to a service door across the room. There. They ran for it as the main door slid open. 3 Novan guards entered, holding strange weapons. Ju fired her gun, hitting one. The other 2 took cover and fired back. Blue energy beams hit the wall near Ta's head. They reached the service door. It was locked. Ta put Duri down gently and took out a small device from his pack. It was a magnetic charge, something he had kept from his military days. He placed it on the door lock. Get back, he told Ju. The charge blew with a sharp crack. The door swung open. They rushed through into a narrow corridor. Where does this lead? Ju asked as they ran. No idea, Ta said. but away from them is good enough for now. Dury was getting stronger by the minute. He was able to run next to Ta now, though not at full speed. His wet fur was starting to dry. The corridor led them to a large laboratory. Inside, Novan scientists worked on samples in glowing containers. They looked up in surprise as Ta, Ju, and Dury burst in. "Keep moving," Ta shouted. They ran through the lab, knocking over equipment. One brave Novan tried to stop them. Dury, seeing the threat to Ta, leaped forward with a growl. His teeth found the alien's arm. The Novan cried out in a high, strange voice and fell back. On the far side of the lab was another door. This one opened to a wide hallway. As they ran down it, more alarms sounded. "They're sealing the facility," Ju said, pointing to heavy doors that were starting to close ahead of them. Ta saw an air vent in the wall. "There. Help me open it." Together they pulled the cover off. Ta helped Dury climb in, then Ju. "Wait," Ju said before climbing in. "We should take this." She grabbed a small container from her pocket. "I filled it with Novan data and biological samples while you were getting Dury. It might help us fight them." Ta nodded. Smart thinking. Just as Ta was climbing into the vent, 5 Novan guards appeared at the end of the hallway. They fired their weapons. A blue beam hit the wall inches from Ta's leg as he pulled himself inside. They crawled through the narrow space, following bends and turns. Behind them, they could hear the sounds of pursuit. "Look," Ju said after several minutes. "Light ahead." The vent led to an outside wall of the facility. Ta pushed hard on the cover, and it fell away. Fresh air rushed in. They were high up on the mountainside, about 3 stories above the ground. "We'll have to jump," Ta said. Below was a sloped area with bushes. Ju looked uncertain. "It's far." "I'll go first with Dury," Ta said. He pulled his dog close and whispered, "Trust me, boy." Just then, they heard sounds in the vent behind them. The Novans were getting closer. "No time to argue," Ta said. He held Dury tight and jumped. They hit the slope and rolled through the bushes. Pain shot through Ta's shoulder, but nothing seemed broken. He looked up to see Ju jumping too. She landed nearby with a grunt. "Run," Ta shouted as he got to his feet. With Dury now running strongly beside him and Ju following close behind, they headed for the cover of the forest below. The forest gave them cover, but not for long. Novan ships flew overhead, their lights cutting through the trees. Ta, Ju, and Dury ran deeper into the woods. "We need to find somewhere to hide," Ju said, breathing hard. They found a small cave behind a waterfall. As they caught their breath, Ta checked Dury carefully. The dog seemed fully recovered now, alert and strong. He licked Ta's hand and stayed close to him. "What do we do now?" Ju asked. "They'll never stop looking for us." Ta was quiet for a moment, thinking. "We have to go back." "What? Are you crazy?" Ju stared at him. "They're planning to kill everyone on Earth," Ta said. "We can't just run away." "But what can we do? There are only 2 of us." Ta smiled slightly. 3 counting Dury. "And I have a plan." From his pack, Ta pulled out several small devices. They looked like metal discs with lights on them. "What are those?" Ju asked. "Explosives, special kind. From my military days, I was saving them. You want to blow up the facility. It's huge." Ta nodded. "Not all of it, just the right parts. When I was in the Special Forces, we learned how to do maximum damage with minimum resources. How will we get back in? They'll be watching for us." "Not the way we're going in." Ta pointed to a map he had drawn. "There's a maintenance tunnel on the east side. We passed it when we were escaping. It's small, but it should lead to the main power center." They waited until night fell. Then, with Dury leading the way with his sharp nose and ears, they circled back toward the facility. The maintenance tunnel was where Ta had fought, hidden behind equipment and easy to miss. They crawled through the narrow space. It was dark and dirty, but it led them deep into the facility without being seen. "Where are we going?" Ju whispered. "The central control room," Tai answered. "That's where we can do the most damage." They emerged from the tunnel into a quiet corridor. Following Ta's memory of the facility layout, they made their way toward the center. Twice they had to hide from Novan patrols. Finally, they reached a large door marked with important-looking symbols. "This is it," Ju said, "but it needs a code." Ta smiled and pulled out a small device. "Something else I kept from my days in the service. Stand back." The device made quick work of the lock. The door slid open to reveal a massive room filled with control panels and screens. In the center was a tall Novan with decorations on its uniform. It turned in surprise. "Humans," it said in perfect Korean. "How did you get in here?" "We came for what's ours," Ta said, stepping forward with Duri at his side. "You are the one who took the dog," the Novan said. "I am the Supreme Overseer. Your persistence is impressive but pointless." "Why?" Tai asked. "Why destroy us after you take what you want?" The Overseer made a gesture that might have been a shrug. "Your planet has what we need to save our world. We have already collected enough samples. The cleansing will begin tomorrow. This world will be ours." Ta looked around the room. Other Novans were moving slowly toward them, weapons ready. "You made a mistake," Ta said calmly. "What mistake?" the Overseer asked. "You took my dog." Tai opened his jacket to reveal the explosives strapped to his chest. "And I'm not leaving without him." The Overseer stepped back. "You would die for an animal." "He's not just an animal. He's family." Ta looked down at Duri, who stood firmly beside him. "And there's something else you should know." "What is that?" "I already placed explosives throughout your facility. On your power systems, your communication arrays, your ship docking mechanisms." The Overseer's eyes widened. "You lie." "No," Ju said, stepping forward. "He doesn't. I helped him place them while you were all searching the forest." Tai held up a small remote. "One press, and it all goes down." "You will die too," the Overseer said. "Maybe," Tai replied. "But Earth will have a chance." The Overseer made a sharp gesture. The other Novans raised their weapons. "Now, Ju," Ta shouted. Ju threw something on the ground. It burst into blinding white light. A flash grenade. In the confusion, Ta grabbed Duri and ran for the side door they had spotted earlier. Once through, Ta pressed the button on the remote. The ground shook as explosions rocked the facility. Alarms blared everywhere. "Run," Ta shouted to Ju. They sprinted down corridors as the facility began to fall apart around them. One final door stood between them and outside. It was locked. "Stand back," Ta said. He placed his last explosive on the door, and they took cover. The blast opened the way. They ran out into the night as the Novan facility collapsed behind them. 6 months later, Tai sat on the porch of his rebuilt home. Duri lay at his feet, enjoying the sun. In the distance, the mountains were green again, with no sign of the alien base that had once stood there. Ju visited sometimes, bringing news. The Novan fleet had left Earth orbit last week. Without their command center and with the samples destroyed, they had given up. "We won," she had said on her last visit. Tai looked down at Duri, who wagged his tail happily. "Yes," he had replied. "We did." He still wondered sometimes what the Novans had seen in dogs that made them so valuable. Perhaps it was the very thing that had saved Earth. Loyalty. The bond between a man and his dog. Something the aliens could never understand. The aliens had come for the planet. He had come for his dog. In the end, they were the only ones left standing.